What the fuck was that? What the fuck? Hang on. Whoa.
In the quiet town of Gosport stands the Royal Hospital Haslar, once one of the UK's oldest and most respected military hospitals. Now it's just another forgotten structure, left to decay. Most people stay far away, but one YouTuber, Colin Smith, decided to do the opposite. On the night of Halloween, he entered the building alone, hoping to film something eerie enough to leave a mark. He got what he was looking for, but what he captured that night wasn't just unsettling. It was something he still struggles to explain.
I just can't believe all this stuff is still here. It's almost as if nothing's been touched, nothing's been moved.
In its prime days, the hospital operated with military precision, even having its own railway line that ran directly into the building. Wounded sailors were brought in by boat, then transferred by train through the underground corridors. Those strong enough were rushed to the wards for treatment. The rest were quietly taken to the chapel, and then to the hospital's massive graveyard, where over 10,000 souls are now buried.
I can't help but feel that there's somebody walking right behind me. It's really, really creepy. And what we're going to do, we're going to walk through this area and we're going to go into the gymnasium, which is up here on the left. And we're going to have a look in there first, and then we're going to go upstairs and check out all the MRI scanners.
It wasn't long before he reached the most talked about part of the hospital.
Famous spiral staircase. This is one of my favourite parts of Haslar. I absolutely love this staircase. And like I said before, there is a very sad story to a nurse who actually committed suicide here. Her name was Mary.
This wasn't just any spiral staircase. It was the centerpiece of one of Haslar's most chilling legends, the ghostly nurse. According to local lore, this nurse tragically lost her life on those very stairs after losing a child she had been caring for. Heartbroken and unable to bear the loss, she jumped from the top of the staircase. Since then, her restless spirit is said to haunt the spiral steps, searching for peace she'll never find. Some say you can still hear her crying. Others say you can see her shadow at the exact spot she landed. The height alone is enough to give you chills, and the idea that someone's final moments occurred on these steps? Haunting. Still shaken, Colin moved deeper into the hospital, making his way down to the basement. It was dark, cold, and filled with patient folders.
There's lots of folders with miscellaneous paperwork, but the actual patient records are gone, which is very good.
But what he stumbled upon next was far more disturbing.
So this, guys, is a real human liver. I know it's disgusting, but it is very, very rare. The sort of thing you'd only see in a museum. But here it is in Haslar Hospital. It's been here for years.
A preserved human liver, floating in a jar of murky fluid. Not labeled, not stored, just sitting there, as if waiting to be found. But the unease only grew stronger. As he continued exploring, he entered what appeared to be an old scanning room, and to his surprise, all of the medical equipment remained intact.
A few of the bits have been moved around, but I'm pretty sure that's done by the builders, not by anyone else. That sounded like footsteps.
It was as if the hospital staff had just vanished one day, leaving everything behind. After wandering through several rooms without any major incidents, aside from his own rising panic, Colin entered an old patient room. At first, he thought he heard the whisper of a little girl, but this was only just the beginning.
Fucking hell, it sounded like a little girl. I don't know what it was, I don't know. It sounded like a little girl. Oh, oh, what the no way that has just happened. There is no way that is. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what the hell?
Things breaking, doors creaking and banging on the wall. You can hear how terrified Colin was throughout this experience.
I don't know what to do. That was really scary. What the hell was that? I'm actually shaking. I am physically shaking. I can't even hold my torch straight.
Colin had enough. He decided that he needed to get out of the building and began to search for his way back. Unfortunately, something had other plans.
I think that's a dead end up. Is that a dead end? No, that's a dead end up there. We go... That.
It's hard to make out from the footage, but on his journey to locating the exit, he hears a cupboard open behind him and spots what appears to be a hand opening the door slowly. After running away and gathering his courage, he went back to check on the cupboard. No person or creature was in the cupboard, and being that it was so low and cramped, a person couldn't have fit anyway. What was this then? A ghost? What do you guys think? In every abandoned place, there's always that one moment when your flashlight cuts through the dark and you find yourself hoping that if you do run into someone, they're just another explorer, just a normal person, because the alternative is something far worse. That's exactly what Chris was thinking as he explored an old school in Cleveland that is said to be haunted.
Every time I explore, you hear sirens.
Dead silence. Only Chris's breathing and the crunching of the ground can be heard as he makes his way into the abandoned school. It stood half swallowed by time, and it had an overwhelming sense that he probably shouldn't be there.
The ceiling is completely exposed.
Water damage from the roof had caused the floor to rot away, making this a dangerous experience for anybody exploring, as they might fall through it if they aren't careful. Chris was still trying to wrap his head around it when he heard something strange. A faint creak, like someone had stepped on an old wooden floorboard, and when he went to investigate, and in that moment, he realized he wasn't alone. Chris did what any sane person would do. He hid. Switching off his flashlight, he crouched behind a pile of debris, holding his breath and praying that whatever or whoever it was didn't notice him. Seconds passed like hours, and Chris stayed perfectly still and quiet. The rumors about this place came flooding back. Stories of strange voices, sightings of figures that vanished mid-step, and visitors who never made it to the exit. But as minutes passed with no footsteps, no voices, no one coming or going, he decided to keep moving, hoping to continue exploring without any further encounters. After exploring more of the school and finding nothing unusual, he made his way into a bathroom at the end of a corridor.
Holy shit. Somebody's in there.
A figure was standing in the shadows at the end of the bathroom. It didn't move, didn't make a sound. It just stood there as if it had been waiting for him all along. Without thinking, Chris turned and backed up as quickly as he could, but something inside him wouldn't let him leave just yet. Curiosity got the better of him, so he went back to face whoever it was. This time, he wasn't taking any chances. He pulled out his gun, holding it tightly as he retraced his steps toward where he'd seen the figure.
Oh, it's a fucking toy.
As if on cue, the mannequin fell over as soon as he walked around the corner. The timing couldn't have been creepier. This is one scary-looking doll, but how did it get there? Was someone playing games with him? Or had someone been following him this entire time? waiting for the perfect moment to leave this creepy little gift. This put Chris on edge for the rest of the exploration, and rightfully so. Upon entering the main office, he heard something that can't be explained.
What's in it? Oh shit.
It wasn't clear enough to make out details, but it was unmistakably human-shaped. He went and investigated where the noise came from, but nothing was there. It wasn't until reviewing the footage once he arrived home that he saw the figure that created the noise. Was this a human, or was this one of the ghosts the stories spoke about? We may never know. Chris still doesn't. If you've ever driven 4 hours into the middle of nowhere, you know these kind of locations. Endless stretches of road, no cell service, and the creeping realization that if your car breaks down, you're starring in your own horror movie. That's exactly how Frank found himself one fateful night, when he decided to explore a massive crumbling castle. Upon arriving at the location, already hearing noises from the forest and seeing prohibited signs stapled to the trees surrounding the property, would normally be a sign to turn around and leave again, but not for Frank.
I don't think you guys seen this entrance in the last place. If you notice, I'm a little bit quiet because I'm trying to see if I hear anything. It already kind of smells.
As Frank wandered through the empty halls to a courtyard outside, he suddenly heard something that made his heart skip a beat. This wasn't the wind rattling a window or an animal moving around. No, this was deliberate, faint, and seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once.
I hear music. What the hell is that?
But what made his skin crawl wasn't the music itself. It was what happened next.
I literally heard what just sounded like music. Ow, just blinded myself. Coming from one of the many rooms in here. And then it stopped.
It stopped, suddenly, sharply, like someone had cut it off mid-note. You see, this isn't just any abandoned castle. This place came with a story, a tragic one at that. Legend has it that the original owner of the castle had returned home from a lavish party one night, only to suffer a fatal heart attack. His wife, heartbroken and unable to cope with the loss, left the castle and never returned. Since then, the place had been left to fall apart. But what if they never really left? Just when Frank thought it couldn't get any worse, he started hearing things. This time it wasn't music.
Right now I'm doing strictly night vision. I'm inside the very big room where I heard the knocks happen, one right in front of me and then one right behind me. I want to see if I could ask questions. Maybe I could have the knocks happen again or anything else. I am recording with a night vision and a thermal imaging camera right back there.
The knocks became impossible to ignore, and he became very curious. In the process of investigating, Frank switched his camera to night vision and marched straight toward the sound, like he wasn't utterly terrified. After a few seconds, this is what his heat-detecting camera picked up.
There's like a little bit of a heat signature here.
Frank caught a glimpse of something, or someone that shouldn't have been there. A figure, faint but unmistakable, stood at the far end of the hallway. It didn't move, it didn't make a sound, it just stood there, watching. This only reminds us that places like this don't forget who walks through their doors, and sometimes the real horror isn't what you discover out there, it's what you carry back with you.